Hey there, and welcome to the next video in the debugging mini-series. We made a program in Java, and that's a really simple one. And we have an array of numbers, we have a for loop, and we're printing something out. So if we build it and we run it, we just get a bunch of numbers. Okay, so we have printing all the way from 10 to 100. So first I'm just going to do a small modification, refactoring to the project here. I'm just going to do kind of a helper variable. I'm just going to take the code from down here in my system.out line. So I'm basically just moving the output into my helper variable, and then I can print the contents of the output down in the system.out line. Okay, so one of the really fundamental concepts of debugging is that you can input a breakpoint. So how does that work? Well, if we zoom in a bit here, we can put in breakpoints for a specific line. So I can click in this left margin in NetBeans and other IDEs, and then it's gonna stop the program. So I'm forcing the program to stop here so I can inspect it. I can do some special things here if I want to see what this variable is, or if my number's length has a value, or if it is null, if I'm using an object, if that has been set, or something like that. So I can set breakpoints and I can take them away again. So if I hover over, it says line breakpoint at 14, 17, and 20. Okay, so if we just build it, then we hit the debug button, then we can see that NetBeans shows us some extra tabs down here. We have the call stack and breakpoints and debugging. And if you're missing some of these panels, because you can adjust the layout in many of the IDEs today to suit your personal needs, then you can go up here to get the debugging windows in NetBeans. If you want the call stack, maybe if you don't have that, or you want to have sources or something like this, variables, then you can get them back here. Okay, and you can also rearrange them. But we can see here that we have the call stack. That is where we are right now. So it says line 14. We are right now in the main fun with debugging.main. And if we are calling another method, if we have a larger project, it will actually show us the call stack, how we actually got here. If we go to breakpoints, we can see the different breakpoints that we set up and the line numbers. And now we can see also in the IDE that we have a cool panel here right now. We have a lot of different buttons that we can use to debug. So we have the finish, the stop, we have a pause that will basically stop the program temporary and we can start it again. Then we have continue, and then we have other buttons here that I'm going to explain later on. So if we take the continue first, this will go to the next breakpoint. So I'm right here at line 14 right now. It's being highlighted, and we can see if I hover over, it says numbers is not a known variable in the current context. So what is going on here? Because I'm right here. And the reason is that NetBeans and Java has not executed this statement yet. So that means that it's just on the step and about to run it. So if we go with continue or F5, we can see that now it jumped to the next breakpoint. So now we are on breakpoint 17. Okay, so that means that if we hover over numbers, it has run this line 14 now. So we can actually inspect the numbers. It has a length of 10 because we inputted 10 elements. So if we go here and we say, oh, we can click the plus sign, then we can actually see each different entry in the array, and that could be anything. That could be a custom class you made maybe, or a string array or whatever, and we can see the values. So that would also reveal if we had an object or an array that had null entries or something like that, if we had a null pointer exception. So now I can inspect while the program is running, and we can see now we're in the for loop and we get the same message, output is not a known variable in the current context. So that's because we haven't run the statement yet. So if we go back F5, it will jump to the last print line. And now we can see the output, our small helper variable, that now it has been set. So now it was set for the value of printing number, and then the number, actually the number of the array. So it has translated this code here, the numbers array, and then the entry of 0, the index 0. So that means the first entry. So now we have a cool visual inspection tool. We can see, oh yeah, maybe I should zoom out here basically. Output has the value of this, and it's a string. So that's basically how you can do that debug. And we can see that it is on line 20 now. So if we hit F5 again, we are on the last, and it has printed out the first one. And if we go with output, we can see the first line has been printed there. So that is really cool. And the reason why it's actually printing out the 2 lines there is also that we have gone an extra way in the for loop. So now I is 1. So we are on the second iteration in the for loop. And if we step through this, we can see that I will actually increase to 3 now, and we have a different output. So I have a really fine-grained control of my program. Right, so that is the concept of breakpoints. Okay, really important concept, and that is one that exists in pretty much all IDEs that use debugging, that you can actually stop the program at a certain point in time. All right, so the next video we're going to talk about these other buttons that is next to the continue. Okay, hope you make this work. Okay, have fun with us. Bye bye.